Hello everyone. Our topic for today is about the types of modern fantasy. So here is the learning objectives. At the end of the discussion, students will be able to discuss the types of modern fantasy, identify the key elements from the example of modern fantasy, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and explain the importance of modern fantasy. Here is the type of modern fantasy. First is modern folk tales. Modern folk tales, also known as literary folk tales, mimic the traditional format of traditional folklore. These stories feature brief character descriptions, strong conflicts, fast-paced plots that quickly resolve, vague settings, and may include magical elements also. Structured folktales can be defined as traditional folktales with a contemporary twist or a tale told from new perspectives. Fractured folktales is a subset of modern folktales that offer twists on familiar narratives by remaining them from new perspective. An example of this is The Adventure of the Dish and the Spoon by Minnie Gray, which transformed nursery rhyme characters into vaudeville star blending humor and familiar story elements. Next type is animal fantasy. In animal fantasies, animals are anthropomorphized, meaning they are given human traits such as ability to talk, think, and feel emotion. So authors carefully maintain the animals' inherent traits while exploring human experiences through their perspectives. So this genre resonates particularly with children around ages 8 or 9, but can also engage older readers. So the classical example of this animal fantasy include tales like Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, where the characters remain true to their animal natures while conveying deep emotional themes like they are portraying the human traits. Third is personified toys and objects. This type of fantasy revolves around inanimate objects or toys that are brought to life, often seen through the eyes of a child or adult who believes in their sentence. A classic work in this genre is The Adventures of Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi, where a wooden puppet, Pinocchio, springs to life and embarks on various adventures. It blends excitements and moral lessons about growth and responsibility. Fourth is unusual characters and strange situations. So this story elevates the ordinary to the extraordinary, featuring eccentric characters and bizarre circumstances. They often employ humor and surrealism to challenge readers' perception of reality. For example of this is Alice Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, as it introduces readers to a whimsical world filled with peculiar beings and absurd scenarios, prompting exploration and philosophical ideas through playful narrative. Fifth is The World of Little People. This fantasy subgenre transports reader into miniature worlds inhabited by tiny creatures who have their own cultures and societies. Such narratives celebrate smallness and explore themes of coexistence between different beings. An example is The Fairies of Norfolk Wood by Bard Bentley Ullman, where the protagonist defends a community of fairies from human threats, and it emphasizing environmentalism and the beauty of nature's smaller inhabitants. Sixth is the supernatural events and mystery fantasy. So these fantasies often incorporate supernatural elements such as ghosts, mystical beings, and unexplained phenomena. They can range from eerie to lighthearted in tone, successfully capturing children's imaginations. So ghost stories that are humorous and reassuring. Like, for example, The Ghost of Scruggles. These often appeal to younger audiences by blending spooky themes with comfort and humor that making them accessible. 7 is the circle fantasy. So the circle fantasy, sometimes referred to as a time warp fantasy, features protagonists who travel back in time, discovering and responding to the customs of realities of different eras. So this genre creates opportunities for contrast between modern sensibilities and historical experiences. Such stories can educate readers about history while providing a fantastical exploration of time travel. For example, is The Wrinkle of Time by Madeline L. Engel, which weaves science fiction with historical elements that about travel of time. And the eighth one is the quest stories. These are adventure stories with a search motive. So quest stories centers on a protagonist's journey to achieve a goal that often involves adventure, personal growth, and moral dilemmas. So these narratives typically incorporate themes of justice, love, or the pursuit of a treasure, both literal and metaphorical treasure. So high fantasies is a serious form of quest narrative that often take place in rich, developed worlds reminiscent of medieval settings. For the example of this is The Lord of the Rings series by J.R.R. Tolkien. This complete with its detailed lore and epic conflicts between good and evil. The last type of modern fantasy is a science fiction and science fantasy. So science fiction delves into speculative narratives grounded in scientific plausibility, exploring future societies, advanced technologies, and the implications of scientific discoveries. So it prompts readers to ponder what might be possible in an evolving world. On the other hand, science fantasy blends elements of science fiction with mystical or fantastical components. Allowing for imaginative narratives, even if the scientific basis is less stringent or plausible. For example, is the Star Wars. This illustrates or incorporating space technology alongside mystical heroes' journey motifs. So here is the suggested piece, an example of modern fantasy, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. So, Charles Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol in 1843, a novella set in Victorian England as a response to the social issues of the 1840s and to raise awareness about poverty and the plight of the poor, while also exploring themes of redemption rather, and the importance of charity. So this is Charles Dickens. He is a novelist and a journalist. So the key elements found in the modern fantasy example, A Christmas Carol, the characters, as well as the plot, and the age appropriateness. So here are the characters: Ebenezer Scrooge, a greedy, cold-hearted miser who undergoes a profound transformation after being visited by three spirits on Christmas Eve. So Ebenezer Scrooge is a protagonist. Next one is Bob Cratchit, Scrooge, overworked and underpaid clerk who embodies kindness and humility despite his family struggle. Third one is Jacob Marley, Scrooge, deceased business partner, whose ghostly visit serves as the catalyst of Scrooge's redemption by warning him of the consequences of his selfishness. Fourth is the ghost of the past, a spectral figure that guides Scrooge through his own history, revealing pivotal moments that shape his current life. Fifth is the ghost of Christmas Present, a jolly giant who shows Scrooge the joy and struggles of those around him in the present, yet also emphasizing the importance of generosity and compassion. The sixth one is the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, which is the future. It is a silent, foreboding apparition that reveals a dark and lonely future for Scrooge if he does not change his ways or his personality. Seventh one is Tiny Tim, Bob Cratchit's ill son, whose innocence and optimism highlight the themes of family, compassion, and the hope for a better future. The last character is Fred, Scrooge's cheerful and kind-hearted nephew who embodies the spirit of Christmas and compassion, steadfastly inviting Scrooge to join the festivities. Here is the plot of A Christmas Carol, starting for the exposition or introduction, followed by rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. So the plot structure of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens follow as classic narrative arc, beginning with the exposition, where we meet the miserly Ebenezer Scrooge, the protagonist who rejects Christmas and the joy it brings. This followed by the rising action, during which Scrooge is visited by the ghost of his former business partner Jacob Marley, who warns him to change his ways or change his personality. This sets off a series of ghostly visits from the spirits of the Christmas past, present, and yet to come, each revealing truths about Scrooge's lives and the consequences of his choices. The climax occurs when Scrooge confronts his own mortality and realizes the impact of his life on others. The falling action is it showcases his transformation as he embraces the spirit of Christmas. And finally, the resolution or the denouement. This highlights Scrooge's redemption as he becomes a generous and joyful figure, celebrating Christmas and positively affecting those around him. So this structure echoes elements of modern fantasy by blending supernatural elements with profound moral lessons. So next is age appropriateness. A Christmas Carol is generally appropriate for children aged 8 and older, though it can be enjoyed by readers of all ages. The language is relatively accessible for younger readers, and the moral lessons about generosity and kindness resonates well. So the primary conflict in A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens is Ebenezer Scrooge's internal struggle, or a man versus self conflict. He battles his miserly nature and lack of empathy, which hinders his happiness and well-being. The story highlights his journey of self-discovery, transforming him from a cold, greedy man to a generous and compassionate individual. So, a theme in A Christmas Carol includes Christmas redemption and social injustice, where Dickens also deals with the themes of family and forgiveness. So in conclusion, modern fantasy encompasses a diverse range of subgenres and styles that often blend imaginative elements with relatable themes, appealing to the readers of all ages. So, modern fantasy continues to evolve, captivating audiences by inviting them into realms where the impossible becomes possible, fostering imagination and empathy along the way. Thank you for listening and good morning.